is in Southwest Asia, if that makes sense to you. Saudi Arabia, uh,
Yeah,
Transjordan, all that Southwest Asia.
I thought Babylon is also where Persia was at one time, and all of these, the Hittites, all of these was pretty much like the same Rome,
You
No, no,
conflating
the
time
Persians,
periods,
different things.
bro.
the Persians. That's over there. That's towards the Kush Valley. That's in the Kush Valley, which is still West Asia.
Hey Gideon, do you think the Persians existed during the time of the early Amorites?
No.
I see you shining over there, Yara. I
Yo,
like them
man, Yara in
frames.
the building. What up, Yara?
Them frames is nice. Hey, I like
Appreciate
those.
you.
Hey, shalom, shalom, elders. I came.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
shalom, Shabbat shalom, family. Peace and blessings to y'all, man. Y'all know I like the
Shalom,
discussion.
shalom.
But when I get a chance to jump in, y'all let me know
Almost
so
definitely.
we can kick this up a notch.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead, get it in.
All
Go ahead,
good.
get it
Oh, it's
in.
all good. Dude, let's go.
Hey, I'm waiting for the host to give me the flag, bro. I'm waiting
Oh,
for the
yes,
host.
sir. Welcome to the stage, Elder Yara, a man cracking heads, platform to platform, known for doing what he does best. They're calling him the Hebrew samurai right now. Beware and make sure you fact check before you speak. Go ahead, Yara. I saw you.
No doubt, no doubt. Can I show my screen?
Yes, sir.
This is for you, humble. And it's just so we can have a discussion, man. This is it's no ill malice, bro. But this is for you, brother. I'll put a smile on your face with this.
All y'all boys coming at my brother humble, man. Y'all boys coming out with
No,
guillotine
man,
Listen, I
swords,
love it. I
samurai
love it.
swords. You know
this
what I'm
just to
talking
put a
about,
smile on my
humble?
brother Humble's face.
Listen, they better come up here and come for me, man. If they ain't coming up here coming for me, what they doing, bro? What they doing? That's this how they better come. Go
I
ahead, brother.
like
This how they
Yara.
that.
better come, right?
That's what I'm talking
This
about,
how they better
Yara. When we
come.
doing this, man.
So I'm gonna just get to the part where my man, what we talking about, man. So let's go down here a little bit. So y'all can just take a quick peek, but we gonna get into it one day, humble me and you, brother. We gonna talk about some things, but let's get into it, right? This is a good source to read from: the history of Egypt, Chaldea, Syria, Babylonia, and Assyria, because what my brother Gideon and what Moreh Yirmiyahu is saying, Sapphire is saying, it does line up to a degree. So you gotta know where the nuances are to understand the arguments that they're making, right? But this is a good source. But let's talk about. So before I get into this, the basis of this presentation I put together some time ago, it was just to prove and show um, blacks in antiquity, right? So talks about the of the Chaldees and how they were actually originally known and studied to be found a Negroid people, right, or Semitic people. So I wanted to make that clear, right? So going into what my brother Moriam Mahu was saying, Sargon the Great, right, is often a lot of times often confused with Sargon II, right, which is a descendant of him. But we want to talk about this. But so I just want to read this, and then I'm gonna get directly to what you guys saying, and y'all can jump in, cut me off because I could be long winded. You already know that, so y'all just stop me, right? So this is source here: Trinitarian Doctrine of Genesis, the Jewish polity and priesthood. It says, on page 364, it says, I admit with great difficulty the theory of all the early astronomical knowledge of the Chaldees haven't been inquired or invented by his race, and that the Chaldees were originally black. It's important that you start the conversation there so we can understand when we start talking about who Abraham was among and those different type of people and how we can trace. We know we're going to be talking about a Negroid or Shemitic people, right? Um, So in this book here, The World of the Phoenicians, famed Italian archaeologist Sabatino Mascati claims that the Chaldeans were a black-skinned people. All this is important. I know this is a little bit off, but we're going to get into what we've been talking about, right? So here, located in southern Iraq, near the former northern limits of the Persian Gulf, you have right? Was one of the famous archaeological excavations along with Tutankhamun's tomb in Egypt during the early 20th century. Frequently described in the popular press, the work at brought the magic of archaeology to life, particularly by tying the discoveries into familiar biblical stories. So we know that this excavation that was done here is actually dealing with the that the Bible is actually speaking of, what they're saying here, right? You can find this work this is at Penn Museum, University of Penn Museum. So between 1922 and 1934, the joint expedition of the British Museum and the Penn Museum was directed by C. Leonard Woolley and uncovered some of the most well-known and celebrated art from ancient Mesopotamia, right? So let's get into it. Let's talk about it a little bit. Y'all have gone over some of this, so y'all just jump in and stop me. So city of right? In favor of a more southerly location, can be cited local traditions which are strong, linking Abraham both with Warka, which is modern day or learned as which was known as Iraq, right, and Kutha, which is known as Tel Ibrahim, right, or what we would say Abraham, right, and by Eusebius, right, when he quotes Eupolemus, right, circa 100 BC, with Carmarinia, the moon city. So he's saying of Babylon, called by some the same city of Uri. So what they're saying is in antiquity that this city was once called Camarina, right, or the moon city. That's very important, especially in the biblical narrative, right, when it talks about the different deities that Abraham worshiped at one point and why he was called out of the particular land and to go into a different land, right? Because he was dealing with a pantheon of deities, right? And if you understand the connection to the moon city, right, or the crescent moon or the moon, this was one of the symbols of those deities, right? During this particular time that we would say Abraham would have existed, right? And this is going to be very important because we do know that when you study the name, and I'm going to show it to you and break it down, when you study the name of what the Bible tells us Abraham's father was, it means worshiper of the moon. So we have some of these things that are not just coincidental, but we have to talk about it in a way where we just can't dismiss it, right? So let's talk about it, right? So it says, we know that Babylonia is also called by some the city of Uri, right? This Camarina, right? Eusebius says this at one point. They called it Cutha, right? Or Kutha, right? Or was known as Tel Ibrahim, Warka, city of Iraq. These different cities, right, were all connected. So when Yirmiyahu, Moreh Yirmiyahu was talking about all the different cities that Sargon founded, these cities were in place. These are talking about the very same lands, right? Give or take a few hundred miles here, a few hundred miles there, but right at each other. So by 1866, the name Uri was read on several buildings and other inscriptions, right? So in modern day English, we say right? But the older inscriptions that they found, the ancient inscriptions, when they excavated their city, they basically, it was written this way, Uri or Uri, right? Which was read on several buildings and other inscriptions from the site of Tel El Mukoria in southern Iraq, 6 miles southeast of Nazira on the Euphrates River. This ancient city of certainly lay in territory called Chaldu or Chaldea from the early first millennium BC. Since this area was normally named after the tribes living there and no earlier general name for this area is known, it would be unscientific. This is what I'm getting ready to say. It would be unscientific to call the reference to of the Chaldees in the second millennium an anachronism. You see? The problem is that people don't realize there's two different cities and two different locations with the name of and I'll get to that later, right? But when you're talking about the of the Bible, which is where they're making the connection from, it talks about how, and I'm gonna read it again. It would be, and let me read this here. This ancient city of certainly lay in territory called Chaldea or Chaldea, right? From the earlier 1st century BCE. So he's saying we know that this name, Chaldea or Chaldea, right? This name came about in the early 1st century BCE. I think we can all agree on that. But listen to what he says. He says, since this area was normally named after the tribes living there, and no earlier general name for the area is known, it would be unscientific to call the reference to of the Chaldees in the second millennium an anachronism. Because what they're saying is it wasn't called anything else before then. So when people say of the Chaldees is an anachronism, he's telling you it's unscientific to really do that because nothing else was there.
Facts.
So he says the southern identification for the biblical is followed here. Now let's get into it a little bit more. Here's what I was saying. There are two ancient cities called that are known from archaeology. By far the most famous is a city in southeastern Mesopotamia that was a great city of early civilization. A second which was far less prominent, is called in Haran. And for all of us Bible scholars and historians, we know the significance of this, right? A second which was far less prominent, is called in Haran. The problem is, as I said, there were two different cities called in two different locations. We have to get the proper location, what the Bible is speaking of when it talks about right? So it says, which is far less prominent, it's called in Haran by an ancient tablet from Ebla. So on the Ebla tablets, you'll see in Haran. So we know that this name or this city existed, right? So Islamic tradition identifies Sanit Lufer or Urfa, y'all see the in there, which is 24 miles or 39 kilometers northwest of Iran, is Abraham's original home. So Islamic tradition even holds that Abraham's original home would be in Haran, right? Now, if we go back to what this writer is saying here, he's saying to call it of the Chaldees, it's still of the Chaldees, but we're talking about two different locations. So to call it an anachronism is unscientific. This is not Elder Yara's words. So I'm just saying a little bit more deeper study, but let's continue just a little bit. Y'all can jump in and stop me, right? It says this city was refounded in the Hellenistic period as Edessa and later became the center of the Syriac Christian community. Although some scholars identify of the Chaldees with the northern city of the arguments in favor of the southern location are compelling. In Stephen's speech in Acts chapter 7, this is a biblical quote, he says that Abraham's original home was in the land of the Chaldeans. There's a difference there. Acts chapter 7, verse 4, a term which is used by other biblical writers to refer to what? Southern Mesopotamia, which would be of Haran. Not the that most people are arguing about where they can't find any evidence. You see what I'm saying? Or where it wouldn't make sense because there's two different cities named So let's continue a little bit. a term which is used by other biblical writers to refer to southern Mesopotamia. You see it in Isaiah chapter 23, verse 13, Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 12, Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 13. It seems that the author of Genesis intended to specify the southern location of Ur by identifying it as the one that is in the land of the Chaldeans. Right there, that tells us we're not all talking about the same Ur. But archaeology has already told us, and we understand there are two different cities called Ur. We got to get to the right one, right?
That's right.
It says that Abraham had to leave. Y'all can interrupt me anytime. Stephen says that Abraham had to leave the land of the Chaldees in order to travel to Haran. That's in Acts chapter 7, verse 4. Whereas the reference to the northern Ur as Ur in Haran shows that it's already lay within the territory of Haran. Stephen indicates in Acts chapter 7, verse 2, that what he means by Mesopotamia, Abraham's original home, is a different region than the region around Haran, since he says that Abraham lived in Mesopotamia before he lived in Haran. So
No,
we're talking about two different places.
Right. So basically what Elder Yara and this author here is presenting is the fact I keep going back to Sargon the Akkadian.
Facts.
Okay, Akkad. So this is again middle bronze, middle to towards the late Bronze Age. Well, Abraham would be late Bronze Age.
Facts.
But again, when we talk about the Chaldean in this time period, okay, we're talking about the Akkadian. Okay, so when you go into the Iron Age, these are the new Assyrians. Okay, totally different time frames there.
That's right.
Thank you, for bringing that up.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a reason. That's why I said you were right. It's a reason, and it's a reason for that. We can get into more about Abraham's journeys and different things like that in the throughout the biblical text. I just want to deal with the with Ur, because that's really what we were talking about. He said, so first of all,
y'all real quick, because you know this is a topic that I'm supposed to be beating GD Capone up on. So I got all the smoking primaries for this topic. My stance. Oh yeah, I'm waiting on Capone in order.
I hate getting involved in people's debates, whether I agree with one side or another. I hated getting people.
We've been talking about it on this topic on this panel for a while, but I mean, so I got some great primaries. I'm taking the stance that the Ur of Chaldees is a northern location in Haran, in the southern Turkey area. Capone was arguing for a southern Mesopotamia, Iraqi location. My argument is that he's basing that strictly off of Leonard Crowley's discovery in 1934. Before that discovery, it just all points to northern Turkey. I think the confusion lies in the term Kasdim and Kaldu. When they talk about, which both mean Chaldean, right?
Correct.
So when they are referring to the 9th century Kaldu or Chaldeans, they're referring to the Kaldu. When they're referring to 2000 BC Abraham and they're referring to these Chaldeans, my argument has always been that they are referring to the sons of Chesed. Right.
Yeah, you know what? I agree. I agree. I have to agree with that, because the easy thing for that, King J, is that Kasdim is the Hebrew term for Chaldea.
Exactly. And it's just plural.
So wherever you first place Israel or the Hebrew language, you have to place that terminology after that point.
Exactly. And
So
I mean,
before that, makes you right on your stance, King J.
Uh-huh.
See what I'm saying?
And then it's just like Haran is right there, Nahor is right there, Terah
Yes.
is the father's location, Taraki. All of that is right there in Turkey. I mean, I've already said all this in before, so I'm not giving anything even away.
Yeah.
And
And that's what I'm saying,
even if
though.
I
Like,
give you Jubilees 11:3, that was always my dagger. Jubilees. If you ever get a chance, go to Jubilees 11:3. I'm reading it right now,
yep,
and it says, and
yep,
the son of Kasad, built the
yep,
city of Ara of the Chaldees, and he called his
yep.
name after his own name and the name of his father. But it's even in the Bible.
Yep,
So
yep,
my
exactly.
argument has always been that the tradition has always been the northern location, up until Crowley came along, made the discovery in 1934, and trying to find a Mesopotamian origin for biblical location.
Yeah, he Carly basically says that. So, so the thing in my this is why I came to this point in the presentation is because the Bible is only talking about Abraham's migration patterns, right? That's all it is. It's a migratory pattern, right? That you can only really travel from and Haran, that area, right? Because it later on it tells you that was his brother, if I'm not mistaken, Gideon and Mori Yirmiyahu. It says that Haran is Abraham's brother, right?
I think nephew. I think Haran is the son of Nahor, so it's probably like his
Son of
nephew.
Nahor.
Nahor,
Yeah.
Nahor, but
Nahor is
Terah moved his family to Haran, which is in Aram or today Syria. Hmm.
Yeah, but
Correct.
do you know where Taraki is? It's still in Turkey. All these areas are like 15 miles away from each
That's
other.
what I was
So
just
But that's
saying.
not. But
Yeah.
that's not
and
actually
But
Turkey, though.
it may well the terminology back then, northern Mesopotamia is modern day Turkey. So don't get it
But that's not
confused.
Turkey. But that's not
It
Turkey,
is
though.
Turkey. It is
No,
Turkey. It's southern
Turkey.
Turkey. Brother, I
Yo,
just had to,
but
brother, on this very
but
platform
shit.
last week, I pulled up a map and just busted Capone ass on this very topic.
yeah,
It's
But
Haran
hold
is in
on, though. Hold on, though. Turkey.
Haran is in southern Turkey, brother.
That's not.
can I
That's
say
not
to jump
Turkey,
in
bro.
and
Oh,
say
well,
this
go ahead.
That's not
real
Turkey.
slow?
Why isn't it? Why isn't southern Turkey Turkey?
The reason why it's not Turkey is because Turkey is
It
Asia
literally
Minor.
says
Those are the Turkey is the northern region. Syria is a
I
totally
see where
different
you're
place
going.
from Turkey.
I see y'all actually really saying the same thing. Let's make it 100. Let's keep it 100. Y'all basically are are correct. But when somebody says one is not and one is, y'all basically talking about the exact same land. And
yeah,
that's why,
but time period we're talking about
yeah,
determines
time
what.
period is what makes the difference. And that's what you've been saying a lot, King J. You got to have the argument along with the chronology, or,
Exactly.
or you're gonna miss it, right? You're gonna miss it. And so that's
Mhm.
why in the bit, and I'm saying this, that's why, because in the biblical narrative, when Stephen talks about, that's why he says it the way he says it, in the land of the Chaldeans,
Mhm.
right? He's saying, or in the land of the
Casdim.
Casdim. And why is
All
he
he's saying
saying
is
that? Because
all he's
right,
saying is
because
the children of
yeah,
Cassette. And
that's why he's
I
saying
really see confirmation when Abraham sends to go back to his homeland. He sends them to
right.
Padan Aram. He doesn't send them to Mesopotamia.
Right. He
I
sends
mean
it to
to
Padan
Iraq.
Aram. And then
Right.
I'm glad you brought that up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Babylon. Exactly. Hmm.
yeah, exactly. Because what happens when he sends his servant back? He says, go get someone from among my people,
Yeah,
right?
not the Canaanites.
Not the Canaanites. Exactly.
Exactly.
And I used to argue, and this is where I have to say, this is where I had to grow in my understanding, because I used to argue against this all the time with Lex Vortex. and I will say I hope he ain't listening, but he probably won't be. But he was right to a degree. When in the book of Ezekiel, it talks about your father was an Amorite and your mother was a Hittite.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
It really is talking about Abraham and Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are the
Ain't
people
they sister and brother? Ain't they half
that were
sister
in
and
the
brother?
land of the Chaldees.
Down the line.
I used to argue
Uh-huh.
against that, but when you look at the map in the chronology, in the chronological order, those are the people that you will see. And the only reason why I was able to determine that is because I did a whole breakdown on the Hittites. And once I did a breakdown on the Hittites, then I could see the lands where they were occupying. And
Exactly.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then you start to look at the kingdom of Mari, the kingdom of Yamhad. But
exactly.
listen, but what's crazy is this. I think it further argues my argument is that hold on, I'll tell you real quick. Is that
Okay.
Urfa is not anachronistic to use Urfa the way that I'm using it, because Urfa has been in existence since 10,000 BC.
That's correct.
So
That's correct. That's correct. And that's what I was saying earlier on when I started reading this, right? Some of these cities have been around for so very long. And then what happens is that at some point you have other people come in, conquer these lands, but they acculturate. They take on the culture that was already there before them, right? And so even though they're not the original people of that land, they're still furthering on some of the traditions that existed well before them in that land. And so
Yeah,
they
like the
are worshiping some of their gods. And so then what people would do is they would say, oh, those are those people because they're worshiping that God. But those aren't the original people. They just came into that land and started worshiping those people's gods
that
that they
just
found.
converse basically.
Basically, yes.
right.
And so we see this happen, especially among the Matani. We see them do this.
Right. So
You see what I'm saying?
that's why they say the Hittite disappear. They don't disappear, they assimilate.
They assimilate.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Right.
hold on.
They
Y'all
assimilate.
talking about it? Y'all
This
talking about
Sunday, real
Ezekiel
quick,
16?
and GD and Capone.
Capone?
This
My
Sunday,
bad. Come
11
on.
a.m. we have modern. We have Yara and Isan. That's this Sunday, right? We scheduled for Yara.
I think it's this Sunday. Yes, it is.
Just making sure you said this Sunday. Okay, yeah. It's
Yes,
this
this
Sunday,
Sunday.
11 a.m. Make
Yep.
sure you tune in for this one. Mystic Conversations with the Israelite. It's not a debate. It's just a healthy discussion.
Glad you warned me.
Yes. I put the verses on there. That's how AI spit it out.
But it's all good. I've never had a conversation with Isan before.
Mhm.
So, you know.
I know that Sarah conversation that you just brought up. He talks about her a lot. So
Okay.
I think I sent the topics over as well. If you have any questions though.
Yeah, you did send a couple of things over that he wanted to talk about. Didn't say what about them, but I can pretty much guess what they're going to be about.
Yeah, I'll put you two in the if you want, I could put you two on a call or in a little private chat.
No, man, that's the cesspool. I'm not getting that cesspool.
Okay. I'll just let you catch them live. Again, 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. this
I enjoy listening to him though.
11 a.m. this Sunday. Back to you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Go ahead, GD.
Hey, shalom. Peace to the panel.
Hey,
Shalom, Mark.
I heard bits and pieces of the conversation. Once I clicked join, I didn't hear. So when y'all was saying Ezekiel 16, what was y'all's interpretation of Ezekiel 16?
I was saying that in Ezekiel 16, when it talks about your father was an Amorite and your mother was a Hittite, that it actually is referring to Abraham and Sarah.
Well,
Capone, we were basically talking about me busting your head.
All right,
because
we don't
I
we
wasn't
gonna
saying that.
we gonna let you bust my
y'all,
head, right?
y'all right, y'all right,
We
y'all
gonna
right,
get your chance to shine. So
y'all right. Based on the
I
talking
want to
points that I
offer some insight
go ahead,
about.
Capone. Go ahead, Capone. Go ahead, Capone.
No, I just wanted to offer some insight about Ezekiel 16. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if brothers if you will receive it or not. So I studied Ezekiel 16 for
Mm-hmm.
quite a while because atheists always pull that.
Yeah.
Oh, your mother was a Hittite and Amorite. So I researched it. Like, man, what is this talking about? But I had to read the full passage. So when you read
Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
1 to I think it's like 45 or something like that, it's not
Mm-hmm.
talking about Israel at all, right?
No.
It's talking about the land of Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And it's talking about when you read so in Ezekiel 16, it's when it says your mother was a Hittite and your father was an Amorite, or
Mm-hmm.
your nativity was a Hittite and an Amorite. It's
Mm-hmm.
talking about the native land of Jerusalem. Who
Mm-hmm.
was there first? The Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites. These was the first inhabitants of the land. And to back that, to precept that, or to back that up, is it's in the Wisdom of Solomon in the Apocrypha, in
Mm-hmm.
chapter I think 13.
Third. Was
It
it 13?
talks about the first inhabitants of the land.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Capone, I
it's
think you made
really
that.
it's really not talking. So when Ezekiel was giving this prophecy, when he's prophesying Jerusalem, he's telling you the nativity of Jerusalem. Nativity means the native the native in the land first.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the first people that was in the land before the children of Israel were the Amorite, was
I
different
don't, I
Canaanite
don't,
tribes, the Amorite,
I don't agree with that. I don't
Hittites.
agree with that breakdown.
So
GD
it's not
Capone.
talking about Abraham. It's not talking about Sarah. It's
And
not.
just real quick,
Because when you
Capone, I don't agree with that breakdown. And I'm getting a lot of echo. But what do you think about Deuteronomy 26 verse 5, where it talks about Jacob being a
being
wandering
Assyrian,
Aramean?
he being Assyrian, right? And then the Hebrew is Armenian,
Aramean.
right?
Because
So it says
what we
so in
were
the
talking,
English.
because remember, remember, I think you might mute out, so I'm on echo. So I think the conversation was alluding to Padan Aram, right? So Aramean, Padan Aram, that's the land. So it's alluding to Abraham being Aramean. So for them to say Jacob was an Aramean in Deuteronomy 26:5, is that does that what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so we know that Abraham and his father Terah, they left Chaldea and went into Haran. With this, that area of Haran is where the Armenians would have been at. It's Syria. So we know that they went there and they dwelt there. Matter of fact, Terah died there, and Abraham stayed there for quite some time, and then he left. Right, Abraham and his brother. I think his brother
They have
named
the
Nahor.
they have the cave of Abraham there, and they have the pool of Abraham there,
Well, the cave of Abraham is in Memory, I think. Is it Memory? Hebron. It's in Hebron or Memory, one of them.
which is
Yeah, one
next
of
to
them is the
Earth.
cave, another one is the well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have according to Josephus in in Haran, they called it they named it the habitation of Abraham
Mm-hmm.
because he lived there.
Yeah, so these are all Aramean people.
No, they was technically they was Sumerian or Babylonian.
No, that makes no sense,
Me-
brother. Who was
I'll say that
real quick? Just mute your mic real quick. I don't
they
want
was
to echo.
Chaldean. It was Chaldean.
No,
Real quick,
they would have
real
been
quick, just mute your mic.
Syrian. They
Yeah.
would have been Syrian people.
You got an
Syrian.
echo every time somebody else talks. Just mute your mic while other people are talking, so they can't. Okay. So, right, we just went over this point upon they're Kasdim. The word in the Bible uses Kasdim. So we know that these
Yeah.
Kasdim are children of the sons of Chesed. Right. So we've established this. So what I'm telling you is that these people would be Arameans.
Yes, they
Who
would be
who
an
is Aram?
Aramean tribe.
Because it's simple as genealogy asking you who Aram is.
Aram is the first son of Abraham, Shem.
Okay, exactly. And he lived in, and these are in the Aramean Highlands. The land is named
Yeah.
after him. Where so this is Padam
Mhm.
Aram is named after him. This is where Abraham is saying he's from.
No, wait,
Yeah.
well, that's what Aram. Yes, the name is the place is named after Aram, but that's not where Abraham is originally from. Originally, Abraham
Now you're
came
making it up.
from the Chaldeans, from
No, see
Ur.
what it is that Capone is confusing with Elder Yara was bringing out earlier. Okay,
Uh,
about the two Okay, so the of Chaldean, okay, or the Kasdim again. We're looking at Sargon the Akkad. That's why I keep going back to Akkad, which is north of Iraq, which will be in the land of what? Syria or the Assyrians.
Correct. Because you got to remember Abraham, because see, the Bible gives us the context clues, right? So Abraham, I think somebody would just had mentioned when he sends his servant back among his people to get a wife for his son. That servant that he sends back is Eleazar. The Bible tells us that Eleazar is a Syrian. So we know that Abraham necessarily wouldn't have been considered quote unquote a Syrian because it makes a distinction between him and Eleazar, his servant, who is a Syrian from, I think, from Damascus, right? From or would have
Well,
been
well,
would he?
Yeah,
you absolutely right.
no,
Elijah of Damascus. It's actually Genesis 15 too.
right, but
Yeah,
his servant
he's right.
his servant is from Elam, or which is
Yes.
known as Persia.
Yeah.
Y'all, that
Well,
internet is
Elam,
going
yeah.
too long.
Yeah.
Somebody got to mute up.
They got two
When
things open.
Capone go off mute, it's the echo for everybody.
Yeah, he probably got the
Oh, okay.
stream
Okay.
yard open and the YouTube.
I got an
Yeah,
echo.
turn your screen guard. Yes, turn
Yeah,
your
you
No, I'm
might
gonna come
have
back on my. I'm
YouTube
gonna come
open.
back on my other phone. I'm gonna come back on my other phone.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I think
All right,
that
good. Yeah, mic check. Go ahead, Elder Yara.
yeah, I appreciate it. But see, that's why I said King J and Maury Yahoo, I think you guys are really on the same road, just on opposite sides of the street. But y'all walking in the same direction. Y'all just on the opposite sides of the street. But it's all the same street. So I think that once you really get into the context, and the good thing about this is these aren't things that we have to interpolate or create or make up. Right, the archaeology is there, the anthropology is there, right? We have inscriptions that are there. We basically for most time periods in history, right? Especially in ancient Near Eastern history, the chronology during that time period is almost impeccable as you can have it. So if you follow that, you pretty much can't go wrong with the with the argument unless you bring a confirmation bias to it, right? You just want something to be there that does not exist, right?
Paradolia. But see, I'm trying to
Exactly.
figure out where if he's not using Leonard Crowley's work, where else is he getting it from? Because I said nothing suggested. All of the locations, Terah, if he's saying they left from Terah first, from the father's house first, show me in southern Iraq where Taraki is. Taraki is in northern Turkey. I mean,
Yeah.
in southern Turkey. So it's like, it don't even make sense. It doesn't make sense to walk 600 miles from Iraq up to Haran
Right.
and then down when I can just walk straight from Urfa,
So
which is like 30 miles.
Yeah.
okay, so the whole thing is Tira left the Cast. So let me get this straight. So
Let's start at the beginning.
no,
And
hold
go
on.
point by
Let
point.
me get. You just made your point.
Well, I mean, step by step, but what you finna say? Because you finna say with Terah first. So I'm trying. Let's establish where Taraki is first.
I think that's what he
Well,
was
hold
trying
on,
to
no,
do.
no, 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 no.
Okay,
You
okay,
can do
okay.
that during your. You just made your stand. So I want to lay this out now. So
Yeah.
Terah leaves from Ur of the Chaldees. Ur cast them. Now, if the people mislabel you stating that what you're laying out is that they did a misnomer or it's a misclassification of the land of Chaldea, being titled to Ur, the ancient city of the Sumerians, when they really was talking about the northern location. Well, that causes problems, right? For one, it says that Abraham left Ur of the Chaldeans. In Joshua 2, it explains what Terah and his peoples was doing in Chaldea. They was worshiping the stars. That's another word for Kasdim, right? I mean, my bad. Kassad to tell you that, right? So we know that it's talking about. That's why it says Kasdim, because it's an identifier to let you know that they're talking about southern Mesopotamia. Now, my question to you is it have the Chaldean people, the Greeks coined them Chaldeans, by the way. These Chaldean people, was they ever in northern Mesopotamia? That's one question to you.
Okay, so and this is so the Kasdim were, and this is, which is who I referred to before, were the children of Kased. Sons of Kased, plural would be Kasdim. So when they're referring to Kasdim during the period of 2000 BC, these are who are they referring to? The children of Kased, sons of Kased. I want to draw a distinction between Kasdim, the word they're actually using, and the Chaldew, who you are actually referring to. So when you look at when you get to actually studying who the Chaldew are, they are the ones who appear 9th century BC in Babylon, not Kasdim. So there's a distinguishment between Chaldew and Kasdim, but they both mean Chaldean. So I can understand where you might be getting confused or mixed up at in you know what I'm saying in those regards. But just if you just study Chaldew, you realize that when they're talking about the people group that appeared 9th century BC in that location, it's not Kasdim. So when they're
Right.
saying in the Bible Kasdim, they're distinguishing from the later group who are
Yes.
the Chaldew, who are also, which is the same Greek word for the Greeks messing it all up for everybody, confusing shit, basically.
That's a
So
fact.
wait,
You know
hold
what I'm saying?
on.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
well, go ahead. Yeah, right. I'm
No,
gonna
no,
come. Let me know
I'm listening.
when I can
That's
speak
this
again.
y'all debate. I'm just listening, man. Y'all go ahead. I'm
Hey,
listening. I don't like to
King
interfere.
J. So King J, I had this question earlier. I wanted to I want any one of y'all can answer me. So I had said something earlier. I was like, yo, ain't the Assyrians, the Hittites, the Babylonians, and all of these people pretty much the same people, but at different times they're named different people because of what's going on in that area? And they told me no. But what I'm hearing right now is that these people are pretty much roaming from the same areas and in the same terrain, but then their names changing throughout history and throughout time. Oh, am I mistaken, bro? Please clarify that, please. My fault.
I mean, these is people who were actually doing trade with each other, if anything, not as being the same people or coming from the same families. These are just people that knew each other, or at least powers the elites that knew each other.
All
Well,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Capone,
What
jump
do
back
you
in there real
say
quick.
when we look
I did
at
want
the
you to respond.
Babylon? When we look at the
I did want you to
Babylon,
respond.
Hold on. You can't take up the whole panel. You know,
my bad, my bad.
I'll let the brothers go. No. Go ahead and finish. I'm gonna go after you, OTK.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. So what you said about that, I respect that. They doing trade, they different people at different times. So what about what happens when one person is taking over the area? Because I heard Elder Yara said that, like, yo, when these people is conquering these areas, now they start incorporating their culture with their culture and kept letting it ride. So what I'm saying now, when we look in history, we see all this area might be Babylon, and then we see all this area might be Hittite area, then we see all this area might be Assyrians, depending on who's conquering at the time. So I'm just trying to make sure am I on the right track with that? That's all
Yeah,
I'm asking. My fault.
yeah. You're right,
I would
because
say
you can
you
just
are.
sum it up and say they all Amorites.
The facts. And I want to say this real quick to that whole Amorite thing, right? There's two distinct usages for the term Amorite, right? And I used
Hmm.
to say this all the time. You have one that was the name of a group of people, right? Like
Hmm.
same tribe of people. Then you had the term Amorite usage that you would see that people of ancient Kemet would often use, and they would use it in a form of when they would say like Amorite, it just meant foreigners from the West. So
Hmm.
that could be any group, like all
Or
of those
two.
groups the brother OTK just named, right?
Mhm.
It could be any one of those groups from the West, and they could be called Amorites. But then there was a specific group of people that were known as Amorites, right? Which is
Yeah,
not the
which
same.
are Canaanites.
Yes,
Talking about the
absolutely.
Canaanites. Hmm.
What to be specifically, I would call them
Okay.
Amuru.
Yes, I would absolutely, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Amur,
Okay.
Amur.
It's, yeah, Amu. And so I
And
Okay.
the word, and it's just for a little education. The word Amur is what really later becomes the word Assyria. It's Amur.
Wait, hold
yes.
on. So the Amu is different than the Amoru. I just wanted to say that from in Egyptian.
Well, not really.
Well,
Nah.
they are both foreign. Okay, they are both foreign, right?
One of them
They
isn't.
both foreign from
One
the
of them
land.
isn't.
Hold on, can I finish? They both foreign from the land. From Kemet, but
Yes.
the Amuru are identified as a what's ethnonym, right? And the Amu are identified as Asiatics,
I like
right?
to just distinguish it as a
Foreign
as
or foreigners because it has the foreign the throw stick. So
I like
they
to
foreign.
I like to just distinguish them as the elite of the Amu. So like the Hyksos, to me, the Hyksos dynasty is nothing but Amorite, the elite of the Amu.
I agree
That's
with
it.
that.
That's all
I
that
agree
is.
Elite
with that.
of the
I agree
Amu.
with that because you see, look at it. When you
No.
The elite
Probably.
class of the Amu are
Oh
the
yeah,
Hyksos.
the Hyksos. Yeah, the Hyksos was the chieftain.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, it's all it is. They're the
So
elite of this particular class of people.
right, they were the
So
political
Josephus
structure,
goes
political
through this,
power.
man. He explains it, bro. It's the whole after. So it is the word Hekakasus or Hyksos, right?
Yes.
But over time, that became known. That's a word for all of their descendants. His name is known as Hyksos as they rule.
Well, no, I think you got that mixed up
Not
So
because
even the ones,
we have hold
even
on
the ones,
because I
even the
hold on,
one.
Capone. I'm
Hold
gonna just
on.
entertain
Look.
it.
let him finish. Let him finish. King J, and then you come right because I think you're gonna make the point. So
Right.
Yeah, KJ.
let the brother
Definitely,
finish it.
KJ.
Like,
Let him finish his point,
even the
KJ. You
ones
got the
that
mic
because
next, bro.
okay, so the word Hekakasus is used for any foreign chieftain. So any, like he said, elite person that's a foreigner. So when they began to dwell in Egypt and they rule for a period of time, by the time that it gets to Manetho is third century. Remember, these people was ruling 1,000 years before him almost. So by his time, that name is um I'm forgetting the word, but that name is identified for a group of people that came from out of them. It says it in Josephus. It says this whole tribe became known as the Hekakasus. Why? Because they was foreign rulers and they was foreign. They was captive kings or something like that. And then he explains it. You got to read the Josephus though, but I ain't from the.
Yeah, I'm familiar with
Yeah,
it,
Nah,
but
before y'all
I
get
was
started though, is my screen still
mic on
sharing?
you, King J.
no, not
It's on
yet.
you, King J.
I want
But
somebody to
I
No,
share
just
my
I just
screen real quick.
I was just
Yeah,
gonna ask the
it's
brother
on
And
Capone
Google.
let
about
King
what
J go.
if
Why?
if that was the truth, then why would we have cases where the Kushites are known as Hyksos if it's an ethnicity?
And see, that's exactly what I just put
Well,
up,
I never
King.
said that it was. I never said that Hyksos was an ethnic. I said it
You
became
did.
an identifier
Right.
later in the 3rd century. Remember, Manetho is in the 3rd century BC.
Mm-hmm.
The Hyksos was in what? 15 in the second intermediate period in Kemet. 15 the 17th dynasty, 1500s. Like somewhere in that time.
Are you aware of the
1500
Kushite
BC.
that are referred to as
Yes,
Hekakasu?
that's in the 8th. It's either the 8th century or the 8th dynasty. It's in the it's from the
Right.
old kingdom. They called the
So
rulers
it's damn near contemporary.
they called the Nuhasi. Go
It's damn
ahead.
near contemporaries with Manetho. What, a couple hundred years before Manetho?
How that's
300.
contemporary with Manetho? No, that's in the when the Kushites. Oh, you talking about in the 3rd intermediate period in the 25th
Mm-hmm.
dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a possibility. Because I'm telling you, because the word in the metal netta, it just means a foreign ruler.
Right.
So
Yeah.
is there an assertion that calls those Kushites in the 25th dynasty Hakakasus?
By
Because I know
definition,
they
they would
called
be.
them that in the 8th
Yeah. Is y'all
dynasty.
sharing my screen?
That's
Yeah,
it.
hey King J, hey,
It's
hold
up
on. Let
now.
me give King
Okay.
J. Hey King J, bro.
Appreciate you.
Every time you talk, bro, it sound like your mic like jumping and
Yeah,
skipping,
it's
bro, and
choppy.
you saying
I
some
might get
powerful
choppy. Okay, my
shit.
bad.
Hey, you
But
all
yeah,
right?
your
Yeah.
You
shit
use
kind of low choppy, bro, and I had to let you know that because you be saying some good
it's
shit,
humble
man, and I
here.
want to hear it, bro.
I'm gonna jump on my laptop. My bad.
Hey,
Yeah.
humble not here, but
Man,
hey,
what
y'all right?
man, what
You use the
JJ on, man?
y'all right? You use the same picture that I used for my Hyksos
Typical
debate.
JJ.
Oh
He's having
yeah.
a good day.
Because these are the Hyksos, but these are
Oh
Nubian.
no,
These
no,
are
no! I ain't
Nubian.
use this. I use
It sound like a
Amenemhat the
JJ.
third because they were saying Amenemhat the third. He looked different than the other Egyptians. I use him.
Yeah,
That's
because more than likely, he would he was Nubian, right? He had
And
some
look,
type.
my bad. Well, look, if you did that Capone, then you use a Hyksos depiction for chapter 30. That was an error because
It
no,
was.
no.
when he's the way
I used
what
Amenemhat.
Yara, nah, what Yara is showing is an actual right there is an actual Hyksos pharaoh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
You showed that and said that it's Amenhotep the third, and that's
No,
not right.
I didn't say who name. I didn't use. I didn't. His name wasn't right there. I used. It's just the picture.
He just
It's
depicted.
but it's
I
the
get you. I
picture
get
is of Amenemhat the third because I read this article and they was
It's not.
saying that
It's not.
he looked different than all the other than the Egyptian pharaohs than the Nasus. He looked different. He didn't look like the Egyptian pharaoh. Even his headdress was different and his beard wasn't like this. He had a full beard or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So they were saying like he was
Hey,
a foreigner.
who's sharing this right now? Is this
But
Elder Yara sharing
go
this
ahead,
right here?
Yara. I ain't gonna take
Yeah,
no
this
more
is
of your
Elder
Yara.
time.
Yara? Hey, Elder
Yes.
Yara, where is this
Yes.
from, bro? Can you let us know where is this from that you're presenting right now, bro?
Oh, this is my information. This is my presentation.
Oh, this your presentation. Okay, okay. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
bet. Let's go. Let's
Yeah, I
go.
mean, I'll send it to you if you want. Um,
Come
this
on,
is the
let's go. Let's go.
Hyksos king Apepa or Apepi the first, or the Greeks call him Apapus from the 16th dynasty. He is a Hyksos Nubian king, right? And so the Egyptian text where the Hyksos call themselves Kosh, right? We know that's Kushite, right? Kosh or Kushite or Kush, right?
Facts.
The Turin Royal Canon, where the Hyksos were styled Heka Kasu, the same name they call the other Kushites in Nubia during the Old Kingdom period. And during the New Kingdom period, the Kushites were still being called Kosh or Kush. The same name, watch, the Hattians called themselves. You see? The Kashka or rulers of
That's
Kushites.
true.
The first four rulers of the Hyksos called themselves Heka Kasu on their seals and monumental door jambs at Avaris. You see what I'm saying? So this is why when I had my debate with Jabari, and he kept saying, well, the Bible blames the native Egyptians for being you know, for you know, the Bible is against Africa, is against Egyptians. I'm like, nah, the Bible never is not saying that those are the native Egyptian people, right? It's talking about the Hekakasu, or that ruling class of people, or those people that descended from them, and then there's a ruling class that continues after them, right? So, because when the scripture talks about there arose a Pharaoh that knew not Joseph, that just means these people came up in the political ranks. This was not a conquering people, right? They just rose to power, right, among these different groups, and so that's who were ran out. That almost ran out of ancient Kemet, and he ran them up into Shahureen, right? So these oftentimes when we're reading about these things, we have a tendency to clump all of these things together. That's why you know, when my good brother Yirmiyahu, when he's dealing with the language, I listen attentively what he's saying, because it matters when you're getting the proper identification of these people. And then when King J, when he comes and he talks about you got to have your chronology right, you have to have your chronology right. Because here's another thing about those kings lists, right? None of those kings lists or Kemetic kings lists actually look like they don't have they don't list all the same kings the same way. The Turin Papyrus doesn't do it. The Turin World Canon has a different list of kings, some mixed in, some there. The Palermo is the Palermo stone. They have a different list, right? All of these kings lists are different to a degree. That's because they're recording different. They're not all the same people. Some of these pharaohs, some are ruling to the north and some are ruling to the south, and they're running parallel. But guess what? They're giving different dates too. But it's happening at the same time, but they're giving different dates. So a lot of times we get these things confused because we studying with confirmation bias. We're trying to make somebody's wrong, trying to see, I'm gonna prove him wrong when I get up on this panel, I'm proving right. Like, I get that for a debate and I get that for argument, but your information has to sense the what we know actually existed or happened in anthropology, sociology, archaeology. It has to synthesize, right? That information, you have to be able to synthesize your information to make a coherent argument. And sometimes what happens, you know what happens with a lot of us, and then I'll stop because you know there's something else we do. A lot of us present information that we read that a lot of us or a lot of people have never heard before, and we mock or we laugh at it before we take the time to really study it and break it down. Nobody says, hey brother, I've never heard that before, come back and let's do a discussion or let's have a breakdown. That's why I can appreciate the conversations King J and I have.
That's facts. That's facts. That's facts.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
because
facts,
we don't all know it all. we only know, and most of us only know what we have access to.
Big facts.
And guess what?
Big facts.
My daughter is about to graduate from DePaul University, right?
Shout out to Chi-Town, man.
Yeah, no doubt. And she just and when she got there, she said, like, she comes and said, hey dad, I got full access to their library. She's like here's the login or whatever. So she gave me that about a year ago.
Oh, you got that database then. So that means you got access to a lot of primaries that we don't have.
Hey,
so you have
when I tell y'all, so when y'all hear Elder Yara saying stuff y'all didn't hear him say 6 months ago or a year ago, that's because I'm looking at resource information. And it's like, I can't say that anymore because that ain't what it is.
What if that information that you find takes you to American Indian?
Well, okay. I guess I got to put it out here.
Would you accept it? Would you accept
it?
I'm just asking.
So this is what I know. right? This is what I know, and I'm speaking personally, right? My great grandmother, right, was a full-blooded Chippewa, right? On my mother's
Shout out
side,
to the ancestors. Shout out to
no
the
doubt.
ancestors.
On my father's side, my great grandmother was Algonquin. Now,
Ooh,
those are two Indian tribes,
yes.
right? They both were full-blooded. One married a mulatto on my father's side, a white man mixed with a black man. His father was white. No, his father was white. His mother was black, so he was a mulatto.
But you
My
know, a
great great,
mulatto was also an Indian and a white man too.
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So
okay. Go
that is
ahead,
that
brother.
is who that, and my great grandmother was a full-blooded Algonquin. So that's who he married,
Ooh,
right? So, but on my grandmother's side,
uh-huh.
they were full-blooded Chippewa. So until my mother married my father when I was like 5 years old, up until that time, my last name was Squalls. I had a full-blooded Indian name, right?
Oh, wow,
Okay.
wow.
My last name was Squalls, Squalls. That's on my mother's side. That's what my name was until my parents got married. So for my great grandmother on my mother's side, who was Chippewa, her story is that I have to ask my sister. I'm gonna have my sister write it down and send it to me. Because I can never pronounce it. She gave me her mother's name, and her mother's name was about like 8 names long. But I know it was like Star Spangled Banner, uh, Statue of Liberty, some type of something, but it was all Native American names after that. Them was the only ones I can remember right now. But she had about 8 different names. On my father's side, her name was Miniwa, right? And they called her Minnie for short, but her name was Miniwa. But she was a full-blooded Algonquin Indian, right? But she looked, what she looked like? She looked like a female version of what's the boy name, man, that did the record If You Happy. What's the y'all know his name, the weird dude. I can't think of his name.
Pharrell.
Pharrell, exactly. Thank you, brother. She looked like Pharrell. When I was seeing her, so man, she looked like Pharrell with hair, with long hair. That's who she looked like. But she's a full-blooded Indian. So, but my great grandmother on my father's side, I'm gonna get to her. Her story is that they were Native Americans living in Canada, and and she married a Canadian, and they moved down into Louisiana. But she says their people had always been there, but she is as dark as Oprah Winfrey. Just to give y'all some context of her color, right? So she's a black. If you looked at her, she's a black woman. She's black, but she was a Native American. But she's full-blooded Chippewa. So she said they came down from Canada. Her people always lived up in that Canadian region. They came from Canada, they moved down to Louisiana. That was her great-great-grandmother. So that's why I don't get into the Abel. I don't get into the Abel argument, because I could neither really confirm nor deny it. Now, if you ask me, did the transatlantic slave trade happen? Yes, but I believe more went to Latin America, Brazil, Turks and Caicos in there than they actually brought to the Americas. But did they bring some to the Americas? Absolutely. So, but I do know, just in study, I know the Seminole, those who they call Seminoles, they had a different name for themselves, and somebody started calling them Seminoles. they've been down in that Florida marsh region for thousands of years. They tell you that. They tell you that. I got people from Florida. They tell you that. But I don't. But that's just about as far as I get it. So I don't really get into that argument because I have Native American blood in my family. Like I could go to. I've never done it, but my sister got a reservation thing. I've just never done it. I don't think she's used it for school and stuff. I don't think she used it, but she found the family stuff, and because we found out that they go through the matrilineal side on Native American. So if you could prove who your grandmother was or your great-great-grandmother was, if they was anything full-blooded, not mixed, you can't have one drop of nothing. They was full-blooded, then you can get that. And so my sister got it. I just never used it. I've never used it. I never tried to use it. But so it's just, that's my thing on it. So I don't have an argument against it. I just don't. I don't have an argument against it, me personally. So that's just my thing, man. I don't. If people say their ancestors were seal, I don't have an argument against it. I just don't. I don't have an argument against it.
Yeah.
But I do know that a lot of us were. I do know a lot of Native Americans. The thing is, people will say Native Americans were buying African slaves and keeping them as slaves. No, they weren't doing that. They were purchasing them to give them freedom because they lived among them and not as slaves, right? Now, of course, you got some bad apples in the bunch, I'm sure, but from my study on that, it's just like things we saw. It's just like what we see in the Torah. A lot of people were being purchased as slaves so they could be offered their freedom. Right?
Yeah. You're talking about the Trail of Tears?
Yes, exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm. So I see a lot more evidence for that than I do mostly anything else. But that's because I haven't studied in depth either. So like I don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't argue against it because I don't have enough to argue against, right? And not that I would even try to argue against it. I just don't know. But I just know my family background, right? Uh-huh. I know what I can prove about myself. So
I think it comes down to classification and with the census, basically. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They classified Native Americans and blacks as colored.
Yep, they did. They did do that. They did that. So I don't argue against that, man. But but going back to the conversation about in Abraham and early Chaldees, I think it's a good debate. I'm gonna fall back because I hate getting involved in people's debates. So if I don't know y'all's debate, I wouldn't even show my presentation. But if my screen is still sharing, is my screen still sharing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just going back then to the Hyksos conversation in the Hyksos, like we have seals from the Hyksos, right, or the Hyksos, right? And I don't know if y'all can really see them really good. We have these seals, and some of them worship Ra. A lot of them worship Set, but they worship Ra because when they came into that land, they rose to power. They took on the deity of the native Egyptians who did worship Ra. They just took that on. But then you have a whole nother group that we can identify them just by their name, right? That they brought Set worship with them, right? So, you'll see that at times. So, like,
they would have been comfortable with Set because they would have been familiar with Baal worship. They're kind of maybe similar desert, type of gods.
Yeah, and so that's why I be laughing sometimes when cats be like, like the old boy that be running around here screaming. He used to be screaming and yelling all the time. Sarasut Seti,
Mm-hmm.
right? Seti is a variation of Set worship. That's an
Mm-hmm.
it's Asiatic, bro. He don't understand it.
Signifies chaos.
Exactly. He don't understand it, but that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So when he be going around beating his chest, talking about that, like, bro, you talking about, you know, he don't really know what he's saying, but it's all good. But a lot of this stuff, and see, for y'all who read the meta nature, right? Y'all can read it better than me. So, this is my research, right? So we talk about the Heka, right? The rulers. We see the staff here, right? And then you see what is the proper term for this? I call it heels. What's the proper term for it though? Because I've heard
Which
different
is
people
a
say.
region, a highland or desert region. Some of them there's sometimes you'll see it with two,
Mm-hmm.
and then some others with three. But that's really what it just signifies. You'll see this a lot of times with Deseret.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a determinative in Deseret.
And so I do know they classify this as the N25 hieroglyph, right?
But
And
I
this is
would
the
not. But I
determining
wouldn't. But I
for
wouldn't.
fertile
I
land.
wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't
With
associate
Gardner.
the Kaz with Kush.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say that that's just the phonetic pronunciation of that determinative. It wouldn't signify that those are Kushites. Most times when we see Kushites, they would refer to them as probably Nahesi.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So I got a question real quick, King
I
J.
think
Attention with that, but go ahead.
How do you know that that's like when they decipher that to be a hieroglyph? How do they know that that's a hieroglyph?
Because most of the iconography and literally the symbol is the actual thing. Like that's really what it is.
Right, but that symbol could be anything. It don't have to be a hill. It don't have to be a hill. So the reason why I ask this is because, like I say, when I read Josephus, which comes before Champion, Gardner, and all these other linguists, right? He comes before them, so he actually learned the word by reading it from an actual Egyptian, Manito. They say that hieroglyph denotes a king.
I have read that too.
No, I was just thinking
I've never thought of it. No, he may have said, but hold on, Capone. He may have said that, but I've never seen it in a primary source.
I'm saying,
so like you're saying it, but like, could you guide me? Like, if you're saying like, yeah, he said it, and this is the source. Could you guide me to the source and say
he's quoting Manito, but he's giving his commentary as he quotes Manito.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
all I'm saying is he saw it as a shepherd staff in a crown. He didn't see that as no hieroglyph. He says it denotes. But then again, he could have been talking about the Greek, and that's a whole nother thing. So,
so you're saying that. So you're saying that Manito looked at this and said when he said shepherd kings, that crook, that staff he said was shepherd, and the hills was kings. Is that what you suggested?
Let me clarify. No, my bad. Go ahead, finish.
No, I'm just saying, is that what when he said shepherd kings, because that's what he actually said. You're suggesting that instead of ruler, it should be shepherd, and king is the hieroglyph.
Right. So he says that, right? But
that's wrong.
Then he doubled downs on it and said it could be translated as captives king.
See, that's why you got to stop reading outdated work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think
no. If it's outdated, it still is. It's the exhortation to an earlier time. We talking about things that's ancient. So I can't go to someone today looking at it and saying, "Oh, this is the hill glyph for a foreigner." How do they know mean for the hills? Because the mountains is in Egypt. The mountains, well, it's mountains in the Levant area. You got the ones that Balaam was on that surround what's it called? Those three mountain peaks, right? But
The whole earth is a
they not
mountainous
three
range,
equal
though.
peaks though. Those three peaks is not equal. They slanted. It's like so the Egyptians wouldn't denote they too precise. They wouldn't denote those three hill glyphs as three equal peaks because they not equal. The three peaks that Berlin went on, Yara, where he first conceded the camp, and then the other one he went, it was a little bit higher, and then the other one it was a little bit higher. Those
I know what you
three
mean.
peaks is not they not equal size.
Yeah, I understand. I clearly understand your argument, what you're saying. I just don't know enough about the meta nature and how it's constructed, especially determinatives and how they're constructed for me to give a for me to give a sound make a sound inference about it, a statement about it. But I do know that the consistency is that Josephus got his designation is wrong.
Oh, that is wrong.
Yeah.
Bake the chicken like
I don't think
not.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Capone, I think that you make the error is that you're not realizing this is Egyptian iconography. You're assuming that they're associating this to the hills of the Levant and in those Palestine areas, when in reality they're talking about their own area. So they're referring to the highlands of Kush or near Nubia, whatever. These mountains, it has nothing to do with.
So they're referring to the highlands of Kush.
Nubia.
Okay, if they doing that, then okay, I'll step away. Good. Hold
on, just real quick. Because remember when I said they contrasting the black land and the red land. A lot of times you see this as a determinative in the Deseret for Deseret.
Right.
So it's black land, red land. This would be a determinant. You probably see like a flamingo with it.
Yeah. So so let me just give my whole take on Josephus. I don't think that Josephus. I have to read the work that you're saying when it says that he was wrong, because everything that I've read about it points to him being right. Because when people say that Josephus is wrong, they misquote him and then misrepresent him. They go to what somebody else said about Josephus, and then they say that, oh, he was wrong. When Josephus is saying he's quoting Manetho. So if Josephus is wrong, then Manetho is wrong. And they wouldn't say that Manetho is wrong, but they say Josephus is wrong. So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying. But what we got from Manetho, I think that comes through Herodotus, doesn't it? Or am I saying that in reverse?
Manetho was an Egyptian priest. I forget what time period he lives. About 400 BC. What time is period Manetho? 500.
Yeah, that's about right. 4th century BC.
Yeah. So he's a Hellenized Egyptian priest.
Well, he's the one. They say he's the one. He's the priest to Ptolemy, from my understanding.
Okay, yeah. Because I kind of
like this map. I like this map.
Yeah, and this kind of what you, because I was just getting ready to say this is kind of what you were saying, right? Earlier about the Nehesi.
Because all of these would be Nehesi groups. All of them. The Magi, we see Wawat. Most times people talk about Nubia, they really just talking about Wawat.
Yeah.
That's actually Tusseti is in Wawat, first known. Yeah, it's a 2. And these would be
where Steve's at. Is Steve's
we need to get Kassar back up here.
So right here it said Wawa,
Oh,
Yam, the Magi are not place names; they are the names of Cushite or Nahesi tribes, right?
So when he's
So in
talking
the
about
many
where Thebes is
inscriptions,
at, Thebes would be like right. Well, where it says Egypt would kind of be where because it would be Waset. Yeah.
Yep, Waset. Yeah,
I
That's where
bet.
Waset
Yeah.
is at.
yep, right in there.
No, I just wanted to see where it was at on that map.
Kind of
Because I
like
know it's
Egypt,
like in the middle. Yeah, so that's about right.
not far from Wawa.
What about I see Magi right there.
So those hills we talking about, those that we saw, those will represent that
right
region
here.
where
Yep. These right here. Yeah, all this right here, yeah. Region. Because I know from where the white Nile and the blue Nile flows, those are two hill regions, right? And then there's a third.
You know about Wawa, you know something.
So that's why this determinative with these three hill regions makes sense if you're looking at this map.
Yep. It represents the geographical regions in Nubia.
Yeah. And so,
but
I can go.
So Capone, you ain't conceded yet because Yara, for just so listening to everything I done said about the Padana Aram and northern Turkey location, opposed to what D. Capone has presented, what do you think about the arguments?
Well, I haven't fully heard the brother's argument. To be fair, I haven't fully heard his argument, but I can speak to our conversation. I haven't really heard you take a misstep in what I understand. So, like I said, that's according to my understanding. So,
I'm just asking them because I really think everything depends.
Yeah, so like my honest assessment, I haven't heard
him.
I haven't heard you take a misstep in the conversation you and I have been having. But like
So
I said, I haven't
Capone,
heard this whole argument.
Capone, what do you think? What do you think, Capone?
That's what's that? That's Taharka, right?
No, we're talking about in regards to the earth thing.
No, this Shure, this King Shure.
Oh, that's sure. That's who's Shushank?
No, Shure. Yeah.
All right. So what you were saying, King J? Can't hear
about the location. What do you think about?
Yeah, there you go. Shalom, Kasad.
You might be breaking up.
Is this Kasad on here?
Yeah. Masterful work out.
Hey, yeah, I gotta clap it up, man. All praise for the man. Like
you see how it looked right there. So even right there, it looked kind of like a crown. You know what I'm saying? But he don't say that. Josephus don't necessarily say that it is a crown. He say it denotes a crown. That's
yeah. I mean, if you're talking about in terms of a ruler, you probably would use that type of determinative. Am I correct, King J?
Yeah.
No.
That wouldn't be a ruler.
That's specifically a land determinative.
Right here. Huh?
The hillside
for the hill country, right?
The staff may not even that because we see that in the see that staff as the normal palette as the throw stick.
Yeah, but we understand that this staff for this throw stick in these three, we know that this wouldn't mean that it's an ibex, though, would we? Right? We wouldn't say that, right? Because that's what your man Asayam Ka says.
No, if we read the text in full, like you see that the relief below it, that's an I. So I'm pretty sure that it probably spells ibex underneath there.
Right, underneath.
I see the foot right. You see the foot right there. That's the B. So So that's IB. So I'm pretty sure that's
IB.
yeah. IB's down there somewhere.
IB. Yeah. Because IB is that because so I do know IB is Ib, right? That would be Ib.
Or
Ib, yeah.
Or at
Or
some
Hart.
point it spells. I know at some point on this Stella, it's probably Bisha too. So this is just a little crop version of it. I can't see the whole facsimile of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. It says his name at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And it say he brought the Amu 37 and 37 captives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
And he bringing them to the Pharaoh. That's another thing. It's a large dude on the thing, you know, that represent the Pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Asar has suggested once before.
You know, I thought that at first when I debated
Asar
Humble,
had suggested once before that they're coming in as captives, right? Now I can't
You
hear
went
you.
out, brother. I can hear you.
Yeah, but he had suggested once before they're coming in as captives, but I wasn't familiar with that before, but I do know like when you're coming through like the King's Highway and these different, you know, forts they have set up, they may have been escorted.
Escorted, yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Most definitely, they kept an eye on them because those pharaohs didn't trust them. So they did send garrisons. Yeah, they didn't trust them at all. So they did send their garrisons and their warriors out, as well as with armed magi to keep them boys from ducking off and hiding and setting up shop in places where they didn't want them to set up shop at. Yeah, so they kept a real close eye on them coming in there, you know. So because they had a tendency of running off and hiding up in them hill countries, and they could hide there for a long time. You know, so to sort of stop that, you would think they were having royal processions bringing them in, but that's not what was happening. Those was armed guards making sure, you know, even though they was allowed to come in, you know, they kept a real close eye on them. They kept a real close eye on them. I'm gonna wait
Are you
till I
talking
get
about the other man that's in the mural?
Yeah, all
with
of them.
the duck bill arrows.
I think this would be him right here, and then it's some
Yeah,
more.
that's Abishai.
Yeah.
Abisha.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I was gonna.
That's the
man being eaten
and what,
up.
but you know what's funny to me, like you know what the correlation in the Bible, and and talk in the Bible about the many coats and the color coat with the many different colors on it. Like I see the fringes at the bottom, of course.
Yeah, yeah, but I wouldn't call these Israelites.
Could be like a Jacob.
Yeah, but and it's possible, right? It's possible, but I wouldn't call them. I wouldn't call not at this time period. I wouldn't call them Israelites. I refer to them as proto-Israelites, because even the biblical narrative, the first person to use this term would be a pharaoh, an Egyptian pharaoh, or I believe one of those Asiatic groups that was ruling at the time.
So then, if we're identifying these groups as proto-Israelites, possibly, then we're realizing the gods they're worshing had nothing to do with El.
In the Exodus,
I'm sorry,
in the Exodus chapter 1.
Nothing to do with. Hold on, I said it wrong. Nothing to do with Yahweh. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And everything to do with.
Yeah, I don't think that would be. I don't think that would be a term that this group would have been using. But I do see Yahweh in older Akkadian text, so it's not a new name.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
But
when
it's
they came into
associated
Egypt, though, they was
separate.
always known as Hebrews or
Yes,
Hebrew.
agreed. I agree
Oh,
with
They
that.
wouldn't call Israel or children of Israel.
Right.
yeah,
Can I get in here real quick?
but the groups in the Transjordan Highlands are different, and they have different deities that they worship, right? So we're talking about the Yahweh groups, the Sashu groups. So they worship a different deity than these Canaanite Amu groups.
Yeah, that's why I argue possibly that those Yahweh worshipers, the Shasu of Yahweh, those groups, they were probably worshiping Yahweh as long as some of those Levantine groups were worshiping El. I don't think he just pops up out of nowhere, right?
Mm-hmm. And
I
what's
think
crazy, Yahweh, is this, Yahweh, is Moses actually tells Reuben and them, hey, look, y'all can stay on this side. Y'all ain't gotta cross over, but just let me use y'all militarily first. So he sent them in first, Reuben and them, and then
Well,
they went back.
that's why they stayed over there. They had no parts of the land because they didn't go.
They
Yeah,
didn't
but
want to go.
the Solev inscription is what? Ain't it like 1600 BC, something like that?
Right.
So doesn't that establish that that's where they already was at?
But the children of Israel don't go into the land until after.
So I'm saying, listen,
$14.
that established the groups of Reuben as Edomites.
No,
No,
It
no,
doesn't. If
no.
that's where they were already was
I
at,
mean, the groups of Reuben would have been the Joshua Reuben would have been or
Edomites.
RBN. I don't think it say Reuben.
They say
It's just
RBN. That's
well,
what
You
it
it
don't.
is
says.
But hold
RBN.
on. The thing is you don't know when the Shashu Reuben was there. You see what I'm
right.
saying?
That's what I'm
Because
saying. Yeah.
that's still around the Exodus.
You're right.
That's around the Exodus time.
Depending on what
Can
date
I
you want to
say
go
Yeah,
with
something
the
real
but
quick?
they don't
1450.
get set up in the land. They don't get their lots until 40 years after that. That Joshua inscription is already, you know what I'm saying? They already in a tribal formation
That's
and
why you gotta go with that 1450 date, because you got to be able to count them 50 and 40 years in the wilderness.
right.
You can't go. You
Exactly,
can't go with
King
the.
So
You
J.
I
can't
go
go.
with the date from
You
when
can't go with the
Solomon built the
1250.
kingdom, built the temple, had the temple built, and I go back from that date.
Go back from there. Yeah.
Because you got to realize you got to realize the murder Batah dates in 1208.
Can I
Yeah.
say something real quick?
Yo,
Go ahead.
absolutely.
Calm, peace, and buster. Yahoo A1 of the Yara Gideon Capone Shalom Mark.
Shalom, out.
Yeah, I had jumped back up because I had heard my name get called back up, man. But yeah, Yara, I jumped down, man, because y'all kind of was moving around. I really didn't have too much to add, but that I wanted to jump in earlier when you was talking about the contemporary reigns and the datings of the pharaohs and da 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 da. I wanted to jump in a little bit in there earlier, but I'm gonna go ahead, let y'all rock out. I'm gonna save my energy for the mob, man. Tune in. 1 o'clock Central Time. Me and Apostle is going live, man. Tune in.
At 1 o'clock?
Yeah, Central Time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 o'clock for me then. Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead, jump down. I'm gonna watch from the chat.
Yeah.
All right.
No
Peace
doubt.
and blessings, huh?
Yeah, peace and
Con,
blessings. Shalom to you.
Shalom. Peace, blessings.
Yeah, do your thing.
Yeah, shalom.
Yeah, I'm about to get ready to jump down too, man. I'm about to get ready to hit this road. I done got up too early, but it's all good, man. Appreciate it again, A1, Elder Yara, uh,
Appreciate
King
it.
J. And I just want to let you know, King J, you got stumped down, brother. You got stumped down. Okay? Uh, but it's GD and Capone. Peace and blessings. Hey, shalom.
Hey, shalom. what?
Shalom.
It went down, man.
Them
Peace,
guys, them guys,
Sapphire.
is,
Peace.
them guys are so
Y'all
funny.
have a good night. Appreciate y'all pulling up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Appreciate
No
it.
doubt.
And make sure you go support Shasad at his debate or his discussion with the apostle that he's having.
Yeah, man. I'm about to chime up myself, man. But hey man, hey again, shout out to A1 man. Hey man, I appreciate your sessions over here, man. Makes great learning, great builds over here, man. Like I said, like you don't see that much like meaningful builds going on in the community when you talk about these topics. But got a good group over here. Hey, peace and blessings, man. To what was that? GD Capone. Shout out to my man. Who else was on here? I think he jumped down too. But anyway.
Gideon was
Sapphire, Gideon, all my brothers.
It was almost a whole Hebrew panel for a little bit.
Yeah, almost, man. Yeah. Hey, man, like we'll come out, man. If you can have a decent conversation, like, because I think like here's why I don't mind, having conversations with King J, because if you can talk some of this stuff out, if you could just take a minute to talk it out and have an open mind to the information on both sides, you can actually really see what's going on. Yep. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And sometimes it just ain't what we think. You see what I'm saying? But we'll never know that. We'll never get to that point, man, until we actually learn how to have a conversation and listen to each other, man, without trying to, just always trying to prove the next man wrong. You know what I'm saying? So, let's just, like I said, if you're debating, but your debate should not be just trying to prove the next man wrong. Your debate should be just trying to persuade the people that, in your argument that you got, you got the best information, at that point, and let it rock, let it rock, man. So, but that could be anybody on any given day, man. So beware of people that tell you they won 100% of their debates. They lying. They liars. They liars. You can't believe
100% of their debates is crazy.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, you got cats out here tell you they never lost a debate. I'm trying to tell you, don't believe them. Don't believe them.
50-0, and I've never seen them on the stage anywhere.
I'm trying to tell you, don't
where
do
did
it.
you see that?
Or all they wins is on the same platform.
Legacy
only wins on the same platform.
Yeah, can't nobody judge you nowhere else, bro. Nobody judge your information nowhere, bro.
That's why I make sure to throw in that you always beat people up everywhere you go.
Hey, man, whether that's always a mixed review for me, man. So I just come to know, what people accept, what they accept, what they don't accept, they don't accept. That ain't even my position. My position is, listen, if there's an alternative, coherent argument to be made, that's what I'll give you, right? You see what I'm saying? So, it's just and that's all what it is, man. But we can't be intellectuals if we don't learn how to have conversations and build with each other. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, shout out to you, man. Shout out to the platform, man. Shout out to Titans Debate League, man. It's a solid platform, man. I appreciate it.
Shout out to you, Yara. I appreciate you pulling up.
No doubt. See you Sunday
tonight. See you Sunday morning.
Man, I got like 200. I got like 200 presentations, man. I talk to my people sometimes, but I might try to come over here, man, and just share what I have, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. And you're always welcome to do stuff and then stream it to your channel as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
That way you can just start stocking up on presentations and having them.
Yeah, no doubt.
Then you can reference them whenever somebody asks you something.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. All right, man. Peace to y'all, fam. Shalom.
Shalom. Sunday morning, 11, you will be seeing Isan and Elder Yara, Mystic Discussions with an Israelite, Sunday morning at 11.
Yeah, no doubt. Looking forward to it.
Yep.
Peace, and get Leandre up in here, man.
Yes. I'll try to make sure he pulls up for this, actually. I'll send him that link. Actually, yeah, y'all got that debate. We got to reschedule that. I'm gonna see what day works for him tomorrow. We're gonna lock that in. GD and Capone. Closing remarks.
Are you done?
I mean, I'm really not. You can sit up here and kick it. I'm just here. I'm here for the community, man. If
Chilling.
y'all ain't done, I ain't done.
It is. I do celebrate. It is the Shabbat, but you know, I'm chilling. We here. I'm resting. I'm chilling. You know. I know King J.
You cut out for a second. I can't hear you.
Oh, everybody gone.
Yeah, everybody left. It's just
I
me
ain't
and
even
you.
looking at my phone. Everybody gone. Oh,
You funny. That's
hey,
why you
hold on. Give me 1 second. I gotta answer this.
take your time, man. I'll go to a word from our sponsors while you take care of that phone. Let's pause the noise for a second, because if you're still here right now, you're already different. Not everyone gets this. Not everyone understands real debate, real scholarship, real intellectual smoke. But you do. This is Coliseum of Arguments. This is Titans Debate League. And what happens here doesn't survive on algorithms. It survives on the people who believe in it. When you support through Cash App, you're not just donating. You're fueling the arena. You're the reason we can bring in high-level guests. You're the reason we keep unbiased judges. You're the reason these debates stay sharp, fair, and uncompromised. This platform is built by thinkers, sustained by supporters, protected by the ones who know value when they see it. If this show has ever sharpened your mind, has ever entertained you, or has ever challenged what you thought you knew, then Cash App is how you say, keep this going. Not everyone contributes, but the ones who do, they're part of what makes this real. Coliseum of Arguments, Titans Debate League, powered by the people who get it. Let's be real for a second. Some of you claim you're the best debaters in the game, but every week you're still arguing for free. You study, you prepare, you show up, you give them viral moments, and the platform gets paid, not you. That's not competition, that's exploitation. Some leagues built their entire reputation off the backs of debaters they never intended to compensate. Clips, views, donations, super chats, and the people creating the content still walking away with nothing. Over here, we don't play that game. We are one of the only debate leagues actually paying debaters, reinvesting back into the community. Because if your arguments generate value, you deserve value. So here's the reality check. If you're really the monster you claim to be, if your research is really as sharp as you say, if you really think you could dominate any room, then prove it. And here's where the stakes are real. Warriors don't fight exhibitions forever. They fight where the prize is. So you have a choice. Stay comfortable debating for exposure, building someone else's empire, or come step into the arena where serious debaters get respect and paid. This isn't charity. This is combat. These are not just speakers. These are thinkers, forged in fire. Warriors of words stepping into destiny. Welcome to the Coliseum of Arguments, where logic clashes with conviction and ideas spill like blood in the sand. 16 titans, 16 minds, one path to immortality. They come seeking truth, they fight for redemption, they burn for revenge. Featuring the intellectual elite of the Titans Debate League. Every round a new war, every word a new weapon. Every titan ready to fall or rise in glory. This is not debate, this is combat. Step into the Coliseum of Arguments. Only the brave speak here. Are you not entertained?
Yo.
Amazing news. Yo.
Oh, you were still promoting? You still no, okay, came back.
Why not? Amazing news. At Titans Debate League is now looking for interns. We are expanding our team and seeking driven individuals who are ready to make an impact. We're on the hunt for talented people to join our marketing team, a charismatic new host, and creative minds who can produce amazing content. If you have a positive attitude and are used to winning, because that's what we do here, then we want to hear from you.
Join us and contribute to a culture of excellence and success here at Titans Debate League. Email us today, titansdebateleague@gmail.com. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Where Infinity Gauntlet is a mere toy compared to the intellectual.
Hey. Back to you, GDN.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. A1, man. Go ahead. You got to set up me and King J for this Abraham the Chaldees Chaldees debate. Was it in the north or the south?
Make y'all face-off flyer?
Huh?
Make y'all face-off flyer? Hey, he dropped off. No. He didn't answer the question. I'm going to assume that's a yes, though. I'm going to make the face-off flyer for you and King J. You definitely next up on the list for a debate. Nobody was about to squeeze in before you. Pause. But yeah, here we go. He's back. I was having some trouble with your graphics for real. I know you saw the I like the character I made. I can't get it to do what I'm trying to get it to do, like with the animations. So I've been stuck. That's why you haven't seen yours come out. Because I started with yours before a lot of the new stuff that you actually looking at.
Right.
But I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get it working. Even if I just have to, I may have to recreate something, and you may not be wearing that same outfit.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on something. But yeah, I'll have that for you by.
Lose that cape. I know that.
Yo, you ain't rocking with the cape.
I ain't rocking with the cape.
I got you.
But whatever, man. It's Avatar. It's cool. What I was trying to say though, yeah, man, I'm patient, bro. And you know, I know you busy. I know you got your base and everything coming up, but you gotta set that up with me, and we gotta have that. Yeah, we gotta have that sit down. We gotta have a face off discussion, at least for like, I guess 30. Well, how long the face offs be? Like 30, 40 minutes, 45 minutes?
At least from an hour to an hour and a half, I'll say.
Right. That's cool. Yeah, we gotta run that.
You already got the topic, huh?
Yeah. This could be a face off. The topic we've been discussing is about the two Urs. Kasdim, is it in southern Mesopotamia or northern Mesopotamia? But I don't know how we're gonna I gotta figure out a better, more concise topic. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
But that could come out in the face-off discussion too, as well. You know, we can agree on a topic, and yeah, you can see King J get whooped in the face. Well, you can see him. You'll see his scholarship get destroyed, right? Because that's a modern stance. It's modern, and for them to say things is outdated when we talking about ancient things, it's kind of like some of it can be like an oxymoron. Because why is they being changed all of a sudden if there's no proof of the change other than names sounding the same and things of that nature? So now you're making an assumption to change the record, but it ain't that. So I just wanted to say this. They left the Chaldees. They left the Chaldeans, right? And they settled in the north. Now, if the where they left from was adjacent to it was east of where they ended up at, then that's not you leaving. You still in the same area. You know what I'm saying? You still there. You still amongst the Chaldeans. You just went off a few blocks. No, that ain't. I mean, a few miles. No, that ain't what happened. They made a migration into another place where they forsake those practices and all that. Started doing monotheism and everything. So yeah, and also another thing I was trying to bring this out, and I'm gonna touch on more of this in the debate. King J don't understand grammatical rules in linguistics, because he said the Chaldees, because the Chaldees is what the Greeks translated as Chaldean, right? But in the Sumerian, it was called what? Galdu. Then it went from Galdu, and it's called a phonetic shift to the Kasdim with the S. And the Hebrew captured the S, and that's only done in the middle, in the second millennium BC, the old Babylonian kingdom, right? And that's only done then. And then when you get to the Greeks, it says Chaldees. Now he want to make this whole point about the Chaldees and the Kasdim. Well, we have a Greek Septuagint. When you read that in the Greek Septuagint, it's going to say Chaldean with the L, hinting at what? Chaldees. So the brothers is all over the place. You got to understand the linguistics. You got to understand the phonetic shifts. I read I got a scholarly paper by a THD. He got a theologian degree. Theology. I said theologian. A theology degree, doctors in a theology doctor's degree, right? So on the subject. So that's what I'm saying, bro. Like you gotta it's certain nuances in these in these discussions that we be having, right? Is because you got linguistics, you got archaeology, you got accounts, written attestments, primaries, and all these different things. So you got to take everything into account, not just one thing. Oh, they named this place. This place is Tira. This place is around. So they must be around it. No, because these people been honored. When have those places been named at? Right? That's not enough evidence. And I'm gonna deal with that. I'm gonna deal with his argument. I'm definitely gonna attack it. But we need to have the face off first. You know. Also the Hyksos discussion we was talking about. I studied that extensively, right? I had a debate with Humble on it. Y'all can check it out. It's on YouTube. It's actually on the Sister It's the Queen YouTube channel, Dual of Concepts, right? It's me versus Humble. It's in 3 parts. I believe I won on that debate. They gave Humble the win. I'm just saying y'all that. Congrats, bravo to that brother, but I destroyed him in that debate. Only reason he got the win is because the Bum Squad was the judges. Let me just say it like that. The Bum Squad was the judges.
Shout out, it's a queen. Shout out to Bomb Squad. Shout out Dual Concept.
Yeah. So yeah, but I don't know, man. I like these discussions. I like historical discussions, man. And y'all gonna see some more. We gonna keep bringing it. Y'all see, I knew more about the Egyptian stuff than King. I know more. It ain't about knowing more. It's just I'm familiar with these things, with these terms, proper place. Because a lot of people they study these things like the primaries and everything, but then they start conflating and jumbling and putting things and putting the Solab inscription to the Proto-Israelites when you can't do that. The Solab inscription is in 1600 BC. The Israelites don't come out of Egypt it's 2 dates they give. They give one 1446, which I gravitate to, and the other one is 12 in the new around Ramses time, 1200 something, 1250 BC, I think. Those are the 2 dates. It's not a question did the Exodus happen. The question is when. So those are the 2 days that the scholars debate about. So you can't eat both of those dates is way after the Soleb inscription. So they wouldn't been known as Reuben nothing because they had Egyptian names. And by that time, Reuben them already died and everything. So, and I don't know, man, but I don't know, y'all brothers, man. King J, I got put your 3D goggles on, bro. I'm coming right at you. You can ask Humble, bro. These hurt. You from Chicago, you know what I'm talking about. these hurt, bro. Tell you. But yeah, Shalom. Shout out to A1, man. Everyone, Ben Eden, you on the hit list too. Ben Eden, I don't know what we're gonna talk about. I'm pretty sure you can find a topic for us, Ben Eden. But yeah,
we're about to set some stuff up next week for you. Maybe a healthy discussion with you and Ben Eaton, not a formal debate, and then maybe a face-off with you and King J. So be on the lookout for those two coming up from Capone.
That's what's up.
For sure. You at the top of the list, Capone. You up next, man. I just couldn't get them graphics, or you would already have something out.
No, it's all good, bro. No, I told you I ain't gonna come through on every show. I told you that. I'm like, man, I'll be chilling, but I'm listening. I'll watch the playback. You know what I'm saying? Just to be aware, you know.
Be careful, y'all. He's out here studying y'all work. He listens twice as much as he talks. So yeah, that's always the one that you should worry about. The person who's
also, yeah, when y'all check out Issa panel, me and Issa, we debated the creation and what's that? Creation and evolution. So a lot of this stuff y'all talking about, we already fleshed out. That's why they all equipped, you know.
I already seen her debate against Humble. I already saw that.
Oh, you saw the debate with me and Humble? What you think?
Yeah, I saw that like a month or two ago. It was fire. Yeah, I like how it was impromptu and it was on Bigo. So it was the first time I ever saw a Bigo debate. I thought that was fire how y'all did it. The presentation, the way y'all were sharing y'all screen. I mean, you know how it is. It's not like what I'm used to over here. But I thought it was fire. Y'all argumentation was there. That's what was dope.
No, that's what's up, man.
Yeah,
that's what's up, man. No,
that's how I knew he was ready. I'm like, yeah, he ready. He ready. Like he don't need no coaching. I could throw him right in, and he gonna get busy.
Oh yeah, it was going down. Yeah. You know, that was when I debated Humble. That probably was. I debated a few people before him. I debated like 2 people, but they was like right next to each other. So that was like my first time really debating. So by the time I debated Humble, I debated 2 people already.
And y'all decorum was up, man. That was a good show, man. Y'all did y'all thing, man. Respectful, you know, but still brought that fire. It definitely wasn't born. I know that. So yeah, man. You know. Shout out to everybody watching. If you aren't subscribed to Titans Debate League, make sure you subscribe. YouTube.com/@Titans Debate League. You know, that's easy to remember. Support that Cash App, hit that up. You know, that goes into the fund to help pay these debaters, man, and help us bring more fire guests. Got some big guests we're about to be booking here. You know, I've been stacking every penny y'all send. So yeah, keep doing your thing. We appreciate you here. Like I say, I'm on my job rule. Where would I be without you, right? You feel me? And remember my motto, treat your smile like your money and never let them steal it. We're going to end with the song by Connie Son, Family All Around Me. Y'all have a blessed night. I'll catch up with y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Family all around me. Family all around me. He my family, she my family, he my family, she my family, he my family, she my family, we are family. We might have the same land name, but that don't make you my family. I got some people with the same blood, and I know that they can't stand me. I got some people I call that ain't kin, that's gonna pull up and handle it. They take care of that business like family. We come from them trenches like family. They talking, you listen, that's family. They don't tell your business, that's family. They calling your phone, coming looking for you. They say that you missing, that's family. They don't need permission, that's family. When you hurt, they can feel it, that's family. Let them come while you're cheering, that's family. Let them come when you living, that's family. Family all around me. family, she my family, he my family, she my family, we all family. Hey, ain't nobody fighting around here, ain't nobody shooting around here. Everybody that's around here family. All love, no hate, be clear. No shade, all love, be real. You love them, you should know how it feel. Tired of all these badass kids, tired of paying all these bills. Family going through the same thing, so they know exactly how you feel. They supply a shoulder I can cry, I provide a place where they can heal. Leave my money out, they don't steal. Let them have it if it's for a bill. Soldier for me when they in the field. Only way I live, family all around me. Hey, 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 family all around me. She my family, she my family, he my family, she my family, he my family, she my family, we all family all around me. Hey, 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 family all around me. He my family, she my family, he my family, she my family, he my family, she my family, we all family. We might have the same last name, but that don't make you my family. I got some people with the same blood, and I know that they can't stand me. I got some people I call that ain't kin, that's gon' pull up and handle it. They take care of that business like family. We come from them trenches like family. Family all around me.